YouTube, what it do? You know the motto. If you can, after the story, hit me with the like, which is the thumbs up, and that'll let me know I'm kicking my stuff. This right here, I had a viewer comment on a Cinco de Mayo story, homie. Did I have any classic Cinco de Mayo stories? And by the way, before I just dig into the content, homie, if anybody feel at any time they want to bless the channel, you can go over there on Cash App and hit 89 on up, homie, and tip the jukebox to keep everybody dancing and having a great time, homie. But anyway, this is a classic Cinco de Mayo story, homie. This like back in the days, homie, early 90s on the block, the 500 block. And as everybody know, in the early 90s, beginning 90s, a lot of our hoods was integrated with Hispanic gangs and black gangs. We damn near share the same community, homie. And it wasn't really a high, tense racial drama amongst the gangs, homie. You know, you might have had riff-raff squabbles and shit, but it didn't really go deep into heavily popping back then, homie. So anyway, like I said, homie, the turfs are integrated with Hispanic gangs and black gangs. And on some of these streets, we might even share some of these streets, or some of they homeboys might have stayed on our blocks. So that's what made it like a sharing thing, or we come out and drink and hang with one another. So at this particular time on the 500 block, homie, in my turf, we hustling, homie. That's all I knew coming up out the starting gate with the banging was hustle, homie. So we hustling, and at these times, homie, the homies might leave, hit another turf function and do things, homie, or be on another street. But at my youth, young teenage like that, moms wasn't really letting me just hop in cars and filter off and do certain little things, homie. So I became like a block boy, homie, a High Park block boy, because I did a lot of my banging on the block into my, my later few years of kind of like developing and growing up some. So a lot of dudes in these turfs at the beginning, they probably couldn't leave and go nowhere, but we held down the block, homie, strapped, making money, flipping sacks and doing our thing. So at this time, like I said, we hustling, and the homeboys from I.13, homie, they had a spot in one of our buildings along with a Culver City, homie. So them dudes is up in there drinking and doing whatever they doing. And I'm out on the front line hustling. The homies is gone. I'm taking advantage of the opportunity and trying to flip all mines and make me some bread, homie. So I say the homies leave, maybe 2-3 hours of me having the block to myself, in and out the house, making sandwiches and snacking and coming back out doing my thing. The dudes from Inglewood 13, they wind up falling out the house, homie, with 40 ounces in their hands, big khakis on, hair slicked back, banged out, but they push work too. So it wasn't like it wasn't common for them to be on the block with a homie or sometime, and we a ping pong sales. I didn't did it with Corky from Inglewood 13, and I didn't did it with my uncle-in-law, Big Psycho from Inglewood 13. We didn't ping pong, which this what goes on, dog. So anyway, the dudes come out from Inglewood 13 and customers is coming. So now they start making a gain of sales, which I ain't tripping. I've been out here, I ain't tripping. I'm eating at the time, I ain't tripping. So I'm eating my chips, snacking on sandwiches that moms had made, homie. And maybe about 7-8 customers then passed up. So now after my food, homie, I'm ready to intervene with the hustles in the sales, homie. And so bam, homie. So now a couple more customers come. So I'm like, yeah, I got you. So now at the same token, dudes, we used to stash our work sometime in the back of the buildings, on the tire, in the cut, wherever you found that was comfortable to hide your stash. That's what we did, homie. So now in the midst of me telling a couple people to hold up to go get some work, the homies from I-13 didn't already hit him off when I come back. So bam, I'm like, okay, now I know I gotta keep these pieces in my hand. Cause if I tell somebody hold up and leave, somebody else gonna hit them. So now another customer walk up, homie. I try to make a sale, but it's a homie from I-13 I never seen before. So he pushed me out the way. Watch out, young homie. Watch out, Holmes. And kind of like shoved me out the way. But when he shoved me out the way like this, I'm young. He don't realize how much little force he pushed behind his hand, homie. And it kind of like knocked me in the flower pot inside the building we hung in on the 500 block. So I'm like, blood, the homies is tripping. This is what I'm saying in my young mind. I'm like, blood, the homies from I-13 is tripping. And ain't nobody said nothing to this fool. But they, motherfuckers is drinking heated them up. Motherfuckers probably ain't even tripping and realize what he did, homie. So I'm like, blood, I'm telling the homies, homie. First big homie come through, I'm telling the big homie, they short stopping and tripping, homie. So bam, homie, like an hour later, I think I wind up squeezing the cell in. And the homies from I-13, they taking most of the cell. So the one that kind of like shoved me during the cell, he wind up peeling out. So a little bit more time. So the OG homeboy, B-Mac come through. Now B-Mac, a OG homeboy from my turf, short, you know what I'm saying, kind of stocky built, homie. And he's a rider, homie, in all fields that the hood require. The homie with the business with all that, homie. You know what I'm saying? So I tell OG B-Mac, I'm like, hey, big homie. He like, what's happening, blood? I'm like, blood, the homies from I-13 then, kind of like hogging sales, and it was another one that just left. He pushed me away from a cell and kind of like, made me fall up in the flower bed and shit. So I'm telling, so the big homie like, where he at, blood? Where he at? So I'm trying to explain to the big homie, the one that shoved me, he gone. So the big, like I said, B-Mac, he can go on one real quick, homie. So he gone like, blood, you motherfuckers over here tripping, blood. Y'all know we bull, homie, and y'all not letting the little homeboy get no sales and this, that. The big homie go on one. So another I-13 say something like, nah, Holmes, it ain't like that. The dude that did that is gone, Holmes. So, but B-Mac ain't trying to hear nothing. He get off. Bam. When he get off on a homie from I-13, a homie from I-13 like, oh, B-Mac, Holmes, and square up. Another homie from I-13 come and get off on B-Mac. Bam. So I think it's probably another homie out there. Niggas get to locking with the I-13. Bam, 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 bam. Niggas slanging them. So I'm small. I try to intervene me and homie from I-13. I try to get off on a homie from I-13. Homie from I-13 kind of tripped me down to the ground. So B-Mac, them, they out there slanging with a couple I-13. Bam, 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 bam. B-Mac fires and breaks his hand. Oh, blood, he breaks his hand. He's hollering, oh, blood, my hand, bro. But he's still trying to get off with one hand. So I think another reputable I-13 homie fall out. Like, nah, Holmes, nah, we all homies, nah, B-Mac. So homies like squashing. Homie niggas bag all up, niggas squashing and shit. So B-Mac and them leave the other reputable big homie from the I-13s at that time. He like, half, that was way wrong, Holmes. That you should have came. I said, homie, y'all spoke up on it, homie. Y'all motherfuckers didn't even respond to it, homie. So anyway, the next day, homies wound up flexing back through, and niggas wound up drinking 40 ounces and shit, and just talking shit about squashing and keeping the building function and keeping the festivities going, homie. 89 on up, G stuff, not Ye stuff, and just serving some content on Cinco de Mayo when we chunked them with the homies from I-13, and then the next day turned up 40 ounces, homie. I'm out.